welcome back, students. Today's institute in the spotlight is the Sparsh Global Business School, Greater Noida, and we have with us Director of SGBS Greater Noida, Dr. Ravi Kumar Jain. Dr. Ravi Kumar Jain is a startup evangelist, is a doctorate in the business management and hold masters in business administration finance and PGD in ICT management. Dr. Jain comes with over 25 years of rich experience in family business management, teaching and training, research, business consulting, coaching, mentoring, and academic administration, institution building, and championing new initiative has his forte. Before SGBS Greater Noida, he held various academic and administrative positions at ICFI Research Center, Hyderabad, Symbiosis International University, Pune, and in the Faculty of Finance at IBS Hyderabad campus. He was the founding director of Symbiosis Institute of Research and Innovation at Pune, founding director of Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, Hyderabad campus. Dr. Jain is an avid researcher with more than 150 international and national publications to his credit. He has authored and edited 40 plus books in the area of business management, banking and finance, and ICT management.
Thank you, sir, for coming on board. A warm welcome to you. My first question is Sparsh Global Business School is coming with a legacy of more than 18 years in education, around 8,000 alumni members, 700 faculty members, 8,000 plus students across 8-member institutes. So, would you elaborate on the mission and vision of the school?
Sparsh Global Business School is part of a big family of Sparsh group of institutions and Sparsh Industries. So apart from half a dozen different businesses that we operate in on a more of a B2B level, our education footprints have been very, very solid. From K-12 education, where we have made a really big benchmark in terms of quality education at, so we call it as international education at Indian price. And also in higher education, where our institutions in Indore have been rated A+ by NAC recently. And this is in the first cycle. So that way, our commitment to quality, commitment to excellence, and commitment to create a high potential intellectual pool or high potential, I would say, student pool for a global market is our commitment. So in this, as a part of this whole mission, Sparsh Global Business School is coming up with a very, very different business school, positioned more as a global business school, true in the spirit of globalization and its global vision of creating global citizens and environmentally conscious business leaders of tomorrow. And we also are rooted in the philosophy of conscious capitalism. So we come from a business group, which is a reflection of capitalistic structure of economy. But we want to promote the idea of conscious capitalism, where we do create wealth, but very consciously about the environmental impact or environmental footprints that we leave behind when we leave this world. So that is about the group and the vision of Sparsh Global Business School. In terms of structure, program, and all, the very DNA is global. As I speak to you, we have our footprints in 4 continents, with all seeded business schools like Singapore National University, then you have Copenhagen Business School, Ailey's Business School in US, and so on and so forth. That way, our faculty, our tie-ups, and our programs all have global as a keyword.
So the flagship program PGDM, what are the various specializations that are offered to students that they can choose while they are doing their course?
So a standard program structure, which we have been seeing for the last few decades, where in MBA you have first year of plain vanilla business courses, and then you have 4 silo-wise specializations and all. In fact, Sparsh Global Business School has broken from that particular standard template. And we, for the first time in the country, have come up with the idea of offering career tracks, and not 1 or 2, 13 career tracks, and we keep adding more. And it has a very different approach to the so-called specialization. So it's a silo-wise finance, marketing, HR, operations specializations we don't offer. We offer career tracks in banking and finance. We offer career tracks in health management, 13 different career tracks, and we'll be adding a couple of more, where students have a choice to pick up any career track which aligns with their aspirations, career aspirations. Like if someone want to get into, say, capital markets, right? So he can choose a capital markets track and design his courses, pick and choose his portfolio of courses from a wide variety of 120 courses. So he can pick up 12 courses, which is again a very, very differentiated approach and more loaded. A typical MBA or PGDM will have 4 to 6 courses, so to say, a specialization. But here, a student will be having a flexibility or having a choice to pick up 12 courses, 12 credit courses, and 3 audit courses. So total 15 courses he or she can take up. So this is a grand departure from the old templated approach, and very, very innovative and very aligned to industry, the skill requirement for a job profile or for a targeted industrial segment, and also aligns with the students' aspirations. So 3 aspects are taken care of. At the same time, a wide variety of do-it-yourself or build your own specialization approach is created. We call it as cafeteria approach.
My next question will be, how do students get to decide? Because they come with no idea about what kind of credits to take or which electives to pick up from, and you have a lot of things to offer now. So,
Prabhaji, the first point I may disagree with you. Students don't come with clarity. The kind of students that we have interviewed in the last 3 months in the admission process, I am so happy. We have got, though it's a first cohort for Sparsh Global Business School, the kind of students that we have enrolled are amazing, clear in their thought process, what they want, very articulate in their choices, and so on. Having said that, when they are required to make a choice about the portfolio of courses that they want to have in their career track, they will have full support or rather advice from faculty and their corporate mentor. Now, corporate mentor is assigned, or rather, the match is made in the very first semester itself. So when the students step into the portals of Sparsh Global Business School, the first major activity happens in the first 1.5 months is assigning or mapping a corporate mentor to the student. So this mentor is going to give a lot of inputs on the industry which the student is aspiring to get into, and the inputs coming from industry directly through the mentor. What are the skill sets required to excel in a certain job profile? What are the complementary skills required? For example, again, when I go back to let's say capital markets, while understanding the finance and understanding quantitative methods and econometrics and so loaded technical stuff, you also need to understand the behavioral aspects of investor management rather than investment management. So there you can pick up courses which are complementing skills. So you have core skills, complementing skills, and supplementing skills, which the input they can always harp on the faculty members and the corporate mentors for making a choice of the courses.
That's brilliant. That works actually. So my next question is then, can you briefly describe the admission policies selection criteria, because that matters.
Very, very involved selection criteria, and we have developed our own proprietary metric called Evolve, where we assess each student on a lot of behavioral traits which are relevant for industry. So this tool is designed in partnership with industry and a global psychometric tool providers. I may not want to call names here, but this metric gives us a clear idea about the students' preparedness and mental makeup for a managerial qualification or managerial roles. Second is we take input of your competitive exams like CAT, MAT, CMAT, ZAT, so as prescribed by AICTE. But the weightage given is only 35% for the CAT score or MAT score. Even if you are a 90 percentile in CAT, if you're not measuring up very well on Evolve, we may give a pass. I mean, we may not select someone. The third filter would be the final interview with the corporate partner and myself. So we have been very, very keen on what kind of students we want to have in the first cohort and going forward. So what kind of tone we want to set for this. So you have a combination of iEvolve score, competitive exam score, and interview score. Plus, on top of this, consistent academic performance from your 10th, 12th, and undergraduate is also considered, where 5 to 7% weightage is given to that aspect also. If someone comes with some specific skill or some professional qualifications like CA or CFA or anything else, some weightage up to 5% is given. And we as a policy, we encourage more girl students. So 5% this thing is given for girl students who brings in merit. So this is the broad policy. We have a lot of detailing in this, but this is the broad policy for our recruitment. And in the first batch, I would say we have a 1:4 application to admission ratio so far, which is unprecedented for any new business school, because every school, when they start the first year, they would be chasing numbers. And here is the differentiator. We have been very, very conscious that we don't want to chase numbers. We really want to have students in the classroom who brings in clarity, commitment, great communication skills, and also diversity. So your students, my class has students from, let's say, Cochin to Jammu, and from Assam to the western part of Rajasthan. So the class is a very interesting combination as of now, as I speak to you now today.
One question that comes to mind over the years that we have seen, the vernacular medium students always feel that they're at a disadvantage when it comes to, proper communication in English and all that. So how is that tackled? Because the personal interview makes a lot of difference. So if somebody is not very comfortable with English, how would you rate those?
We advise them, we guide them. There are cases where we have actually advised students that you are not prepared right now, so don't go for MBA program. Forget about admission in Sparsh, but we advise you not to go for MBA anywhere. Take 1 year, a break. Prepare yourself on the language part. See, all said and done, we may say English is not the only language or the language to judge communication and all. Obviously, vernacular language, I mean, if you can communicate effectively in vernacular, you are good. But business world, especially in the globalized arena, you need to have, I mean, English has been a working language or a functional language. So you have to be proficient. You don't have to use flashy language. But if you are able to, even in your simple words, simple terms, if you are able to articulate clearly your thought process, then you are okay with us. I mean, at least we would rate you better. So what we look at is ability to communicate the idea, not necessarily in a flashy language or a very fluent English and all. So we do look at language as one of the criteria in communication. There are cases where we give a chance to people coming from a very sedated background and very average, communication, ability to communicate in English, but they were very effective when we asked them to communicate in Hindi or, their local language. So we gave a chance, okay, apart from your other courses, the first 6 months, you have to put efforts on your language skills also. So that way, some wherever we see potential or, the fire in the belly among the students or the applicants that they want to do something, we gave them this benefit of doubt. Or one opportunity to match up, because they are measuring up very well on other parameters.
I'm glad you said that, because many times people don't really are not very clear, but it really matters, because if you have to make a mark, you have to be at least basically you have to be strong in there. Then I wanted you to throw some light on the global immersion program in the preparatory module. What are these, and what are the advantages of having these?
Oh, it's a very, very exciting model, I must say. Maybe I can claim, arguably, that very uniquely designed immersion programs. Each student of Sparsh will go through 3 immersion programs. One is a corporate immersion, other is social immersion, and the third one is global immersion program. Now, in the global immersion program, we have 4 partners, as I said earlier, and students have a choice to pick up any place that they want to get into. So students, when they go there, they do at least 2 credits to maximum 7 credits of a structured program. It is not excursion, or it is not a fancy visit to some place abroad. So they are going to put in at least 14 hours of work when they go for the immersion program. Apart from the business nuances of the global business landscape. How do you do business? What are the major geopolitical aspects, and what are the challenges, and so on and so forth. Plus some of the exposure to what kind of faculty and what kind of courses, what kind of skills that are articulated at our partner institutions, like in Singapore or in Copenhagen, that is Denmark, or in US, or in South Africa. So that's a major focus on the immersion part. It ranges from 10 days to 15 days, where they have to complete, as I said, 2 to 7 credits. The 7 credits program is a 3-week program. The 2-credit program is a 10-day program. So students can pick up any of that of the choice which they want to pursue. Apart from this, they would be also exposed to the cultural, aspects of the host country, and bond with the students and faculty there. So it adds to their network of, global students and faculty members. They can collaborate later on for a lot of things, including work level collaboration or research level collaboration. Then their exposure to the cultural aspects of language, laws, and food and other things, which brings people together. And these immersion programs are designed in such a way that you are exposed to a situation where you develop that kind of a tolerance for diversity.
Preparatory module is part of this entire thing.
Immersion program is not part of preparatory module. Preparatory module has a completely different focus. So it's a 3-week engagement. First 2 weeks, they will be doing a lot of activities where we try to bring students together from different backgrounds on the same platform. We also let them understand the do's and don'ts on the campus. We connect them or map them to their corporate mentors. We also take them through some creative interventions, whether it is a theater club, or whether it is a book reading club, or whether it is design thinking, and all those things. And the foundation courses, which are 6 courses that we do, which is basics of accounting, mathematical finance, and basics of economics, and so on, to ensure that technical and non-technical students come onto the same platform before the program starts. So that is the preparatory part of it. Preparatory is different from the immersion that we're looking at. During the preparatory, we have a bonding exercise, which we call it as an outbound activity, which is a 2 days, 3 nights where they're going to spend on management games and team building and conflict management, and so on and so forth. 7 to 8 elaborate activities of management under the supervision of some celebrated agency and very accomplished trainers and coaches, which they would do as an outbound activity during the first 15 days of their induction into the program. So again, the induction program is also extremely loaded, which is not normally, sorry to say this, it is often taken as cosmetic, aspect at a lot of these schools. So what we have done is, this 15 days engagement is a pretty serious engagement of a proper designed outcome, that what we want at the end of this 15-day activity. So it's clearly, defined and then designed that way.
There was a mention of project-based experiential learning, and then a business simulation from Capstone. So could you please give details about these two?
Right. So in fact, when we were designing the program, we limited ourselves to capstone, but now we have a portfolio of 3 sources of simulations, very powerful simulations, including simulations, 4 simulations from Harvard University, Harvard Business School, and short simulations from another very top international agency which provides short simulations, and then capstone, very specifically designed for specific modules. Apart from these simulation activities, we have developed this experiential learning lab where the real world problems from MSMEs would be invited. So we have empaneled a lot of MSMEs. Interestingly, Delhi NCR is a major hub for MSMEs, producing from across the industries, from dairy farm to high technical, stuff like developing or producing a lot of electricals and electronics equipment. So these SMEs who are empaneled with us, they are going to send us the problem statement that they are facing. That will be taken as a part of our experiential learning lab, and a bidding process will happen. So there is a detailed approach, a very elaborate approach of a typical professional consulting firm. So these problem statements will be taken up, and a team will be formed around that by the lead faculty and select students. So for example, if a problem statement calls for perspectives from HR and operations both, then we draw students who are aspiring for HR and those who are aspiring for operations, and form a team of 3 to 5 students to work on that problem statement on a time-bound basis, and then go and make a presentation to the organization which has given us the problem statement. And if the organization likes the solution, so we are going to take alternatives, alternative 1, alternative 2, alternative 3, with all the details of cost and viability, financial viability, technical viability, and suitability to organization, cultural aspects, and so on and so forth. They adopt, they expected to take the solution and give the credit in terms of certificate or in terms of appreciation. This is a unique experiment again that Sparsh is doing. I can claim that we are pioneers in this, in the way we are doing it. Many institutions again can claim experiential learning and all. The definition of experiential learning, at least I'm not sure how it works. But here we are talking about attending to the real world challenge in a very professional setup and working on solutions for those problem statement, and provide that at credit.
So my next question is, how is the curriculum evolved? Because this means that everything is, industry connect required in blend with whatever is trending or is going to upcome. So how is the curriculum evolved? Because that's a major exercise then.
Okay. Let me share again. This is a very interesting experience. It took almost 18 months for us to really put together what we wanted. And it's pretty ambitious exercise. And as I said, it is pretty unique approach. And also many times we did struggle to sell this concept to our corporate friends. Many would say, how is that possible? Will you be able to deliver on this? Too much loading and all that. But we were convinced about the idea. So let me give you the structure of the curriculum first. So the entire management curriculum or the entire PGDM curriculum is divided into 3 blocks. One is your standard curriculum, which is your 100 credits. You have business core, then you have career tracks, foundation courses, all put together 100 credits. Then we have a parallel track called value add track. Value add track is designed in such a way that any new development in any career track or any functional area of business, if it has come up in this year, we have a provision to plug and play into the curriculum. Now, generally to revise the standard curriculum and all, it takes once in a year because it has to go through the Board of Studies and Academic Council and Board of Governors and so on. So there is a process to it. It takes, at least 1 year. So we can do annual revision. But in the meantime, if there are some specific developments, we plug them into the curriculum through something called value add stream. And we add certain new aspects also. For example, we have developed something very interesting we are looking at something called business history, where we talk about the major trade routes and how they trigger political and geopolitical equations, and how it impacts especially a multinational transnational corporation, right? And how certain transactions which are apparently business transactions, but they have a underlying geopolitical considerations. So such things are not taught normally in a standard business program. So we brought some of these, like another course on the global citizenship. So we talk about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam as a philosophy of this nation. So we thought we'll bring this idea of global citizenship on the characteristics of global citizenship. What is expected? What does our Vedic literature talks about? Similarly, we talk about a value add in Indian literature, Indian management literature, and Indian literature in public policy and public administration. We draw from Vidur Niti to Yuddha Niti to Chanakya Niti and so on and so forth. So that is the second part of the curriculum. The third block, we call it as enrichment programs. Enrichment programs are essentially designed for improving the employability equation of the students, which are again mapped to the industry and the career track. And these are certificate programs which add as a complementing, or I would say booster, a dose for the students before they go for the final placement. For example, if somebody is again planning to go for to have a career in equity research, so there is a certification, say by Bloomberg, on how do you operate on Bloomberg, because that skill is going to enrich his employability wherever he goes, because so many a large portion of corporates in this particular field use Bloomberg as a platform. So if you are comfortable with that environment or operating in that Bloomberg environment, you will be able to plug into the activities quickly. So we call it as 0-day billing talent. So this is about the structure of the program. Now, how did we go about designing this and all? The career tracks are evaluated by our corporate from the idea stage itself. So when we articulated the idea, we don't want to have so-called these 4 siloized specializations, very limited choice of courses and so on, or a fixated template and all that. We got very good input from corporate in terms of what are the courses that the industry would expect reference to a specific skill set or specific knowledge element, right? So in fact, when I say skill set, we focus not just on the skill set, we focus on competency, right? Now, what is the difference is, to me, a competency is a combination of knowledge and skill. For example, learning to operate Excel is a great skill, right? Now, how do you apply these Excel skills in a marketing research, or in corporate finance, or in operational aspects of optimization and all? Depends on your knowledge about the functional area and its relevance. So you need to have a good combination of knowledge and skill. For these two together defines a competency. Now, this is something which is at the core of our curriculum design. Each course, along with the corporate, I would say, advisor, has been at it to design. So we have designed around, I would say, a portfolio of 120 courses so far, which students can pick and choose from. And this is an ongoing exercise. It's not that we are ending here, because we are also benchmarking our courses and curriculum with some of the top B schools in the country and also in the world. Like, we have been borrowing a lot of thoughts and ideas from top seeded institutions in US, Australia, and Europe. Let me not again call names here, but that has been our exercise of benchmarking the curriculum, benchmarking the value add stream, and benchmarking the certification. So these are solidly rooted in clear thought process and clear articulation with the stakeholders and involvement of the stakeholders.
Team playing, communication, soft skills. These are pretty important. So how are these continuously, honed at the school for graduates?
As I said, there is a value add stream that continues from day one. So this whole, I don't want to call them as soft skills. In fact, they are the most necessary skills. If you look at the World Economic Forum's skills of the future, 60% of the skills, 6 out of the 10 skills are basically human people skills. So we are talking about technical skills, then people skills, and your intrapersonal, is your spiritual aspects. So all three are taken up in a very balanced approach, and this whole bunch of personal skills or people skills are running across the 6 terms before they get placed. And in fact, we try to cultivate a habit among students that they should, because these skills, people skills, actually have to be evolved over a period of time. So when they get trained, formally on some of these skills while at campus, throughout life they have to continue to learn those, because different contexts, different people, how to handle crisis, how to handle differences, how to handle disgruntled team members, how to handle substandard guys who are not contributing, but then you have to put up with them. All of these scenarios, you can't have every scenario of life in these 2 years, but we train them in such a way that they develop that openness to learn more. So as I said, if I have to put it in one line, we focus more on developing tolerance for ambiguity. So personal resilience, professional resilience, and intrapersonal skills and interpersonal skills. All 4 aspects, plus a loading of spiritual quotient, is designed in the curriculum. Is designed in the not just curriculum, in the entire life that you are going to have at Sparsh Global Business School campus.
My next question would be about the MBA degree that we talked about from NKU USA. Could you give some details about how it works?
Yeah, it's an interesting program, I must say, and it's more of credit articulation model, where our partner, which is a ASCSB approved business school or ASCSB accredited business school in the in US. When I say ASCSB accredited, it is like we are talking about the top 5% of the B schools in the country, in the world. So our partner institution in the US, NKU, that is Northern Kentucky University, Haley's Business School, we have arrived at assessing the faculty on both sides and the curriculum that we are going to deliver both ends. So the program is like this: you get enrolled for a professional certificate program in management with Sparsh, and you do around 47 to 48 credits here in India. And you have an option to go to US to our partner institution, complete the remaining credits as per the requirement of Haley's Business School and as per the standards of AICTE prescriptions. And once they successfully complete those credits in US, NKU offers, or NKU gives a MBA degree, which is a global, which has global acceptance and global recognition. Plus, they also have work permit and stuff like that. And what they get in India from Sparsh is a professional certificate and also career support. So a student enrolling in this program gets career support at both ends, both in US as well as in India. If somebody wants to come back after completing the curriculum there and getting an MBA degree from NKU, they can certainly come back to India, and our career assistance office, career support office, will help them in getting them placement, or even in if they want to get into entrepreneurship. We have a incubation center which can help them in working on their idea and bring this idea to the product stage, and then go to market and so on and so forth. This is a journey that is chalked out. The best part of the program is faculty members in India, that is my faculty members at Sparsh Global Business School, are credentialed by NKU as per the ASCSB standards. So when Sparsh Global Business School joins as a member of ASCSB, that is next month, next couple of weeks, we will already have done our assessment part in terms of our faculty eligibility and faculty strength. You getting my point? So this is a very unique. No business school in the country has done this. Again, this is an innovative approach and very sincere we were towards the excellence. So when we were looking at partnership, we said we want to partner with the top business school, which is better than us or well established, so that we can learn from them. And my students get that advantage from such partnerships. And so it is not cosmetic at all. And we have had, as I said, we have had 4 partnerships and all 4 are solid and seeded ones. When I say seeded, they are either ASESB or ASESB and AMBA or Triple Crown, nothing less than that. I hope that answers. And again, if you look at the from the cost perspective, I personally am very passionate about from India for the world kind of mission. India should be the leading point, or India should be the guru in providing a skilled talent pool or a highly skilled talent pool to the world from India. And in the process, we were very clear on what all inputs we want when we build our soft and hard infrastructure, as well as when we forge partnerships. We are very clear on with whom we forge partnerships. And none of these partnerships are cosmetic partnerships. They are fully functional partnerships.
I'm glad you actually elaborated on that, because many students do not understand what accreditation is all about or how it comes about, what are their benefits, because this benefit is not seen or is not visible. It's actually incorporated and it is part of the process. My next question is about the placement support. So the career support, and many think it's all about the recruitment, but it actually starts from the day one when the student gets admitted into the institution. So I would like you to elaborate a little bit on that support system, on how it actually works.
So I in fact hate to call it as placements and all that.
Career support.
We call it as career support. And our commitment to career support for each of our students is very, very clear. As I said, we want our students to be our pride. So they are not our customers. They are our products. So this whole shift in orientation makes the difference. So our investment on students would be from, as I said, from curriculum to environment to network. So I keep telling, to students and their parents, at SGBS, 3 things you are entitled to: a great ecosystem in terms of soft and hard infrastructure, which is intellectually stimulating and enriching, where you can learn and apply yourself more, right? Second is a great diversity in the classroom, which brings in natural ability to deal with diversity at workplace, and also develop, as I said, tolerance for varied or diverse views on a given problem statement. And the third is great opportunity to market yourself. When I say great opportunity to market yourself, this is where the career support comes in. As it is rooted in the corporate, I would say the DNA of the institution is corporate or practice. We have around 35 to 40 corporate houses and the top senior executives of those corporate houses committing to the cause for us. And so they are involved in the student selection. If you recall, I said that in the final interview of the students during the selection process, my corporate partner and myself, we actually look at them 101. For a simple reason, that the corporate input comes at the time of recruitment itself, whether a candidate is presentable enough and placeable enough or not. And many a times, the good news for us is, many a times after the interview process is done, the corporate partner would say, Dr. Jain, we want to have a first right of refusal on these candidates if they finally get into the campus. So this is the kind of ecosystem we have already put in place. What I mean to say is, very rarely do you see such things done in day 0. So in the last 18 months of our preparatory work, this has been one very strong pillar that we have developed. So this, by having this, what we can bring onto the table for the students is opportunities. Opportunity to market yourself, opportunity to apply your knowledge, right? So in any business school, if you look at in the final placement numbers, you'll always have the top 10 percentile, guys, taking up top decile, taking up the best of the packages, and the bottom quartile often lose out on the package part, or the median package is very low there. What's the problem? The problem is preparedness and ability to market yourself, right? So the onus of getting placed is essentially on the students' ability to market themselves. What SGPS solidly promise you is a plethora of opportunities in terms of interviews and all, getting the placement interviews, in big numbers. How you crack it, at what level you crack it, what kind of package or so-called the salary that you'll be offered, all depends on how well you have spent your time in articulating your ideas and how well you have done in marketing yourself. It's all about how you sell yourself when an opportunity come across to you. So we offer we offer a great set of opportunities. In terms of interviews, I would say at least half a dozen interviews are given. So you will be given at least 6 chances before you fail finally. So if you are not able to crack even 6 interviews after 6 interviews, then there is something wrong with your preparation. So we'll have to work on them. So we don't give up on people who can't crack it, but we do some interventions. And with our corporate folks also, we have made a very interesting demand where we said, if you like our students, if you find them placeable and you want to absorb them, you must offer X amount of package, which is above the median package of the average the business schools have, which is around 8 to 10 lakh rupees. And if you don't like them, if you think they are not placeable at that level, you please give us your input so that we can work on them. So that when they come to you next time, or when they go to any other corporate next time for the interview, they will be able to bridge that gap. So again, this is a very different approach from a standard placements approach, and hence I don't want to call this whole placement because it sounds so transactional. You're not working on the career part of it. You're working on a transaction.
Yeah, I think well, that's well said, because most of the students have to understand that it's not the onus of the institute for placements. It is a combination. You have to learn, and then you have to present whatever you have learned, so that the recruiter understands that you're really important. But that's how it works. So my last question, sir. This has been a very interesting interview. What would your advice be to prospective students in terms of choice of career, choice of course, choice of business school? These are a lot of factors, but many people should actually take a bit of time and do a research, which they normally don't. So your advice?
One advice would be, whenever you are evaluating a business school for admission and all, don't be obsessed with the package that is claimed, or don't be obsessed with the alumni network, what they claim. Many times these are certainly good indicators of a good business school, but we have seen in many cases alumni network is not functional at all. So you don't get any tangible outcome from the alumni network for the institutional development. And unfortunately, this is very much there in the private B-schools space. Second is this whole obsession with the package. What is presented to you need not necessarily can be, you can achieve that. And we see a lot of claims and cross claims and false claims and all. What is to be seen? What you have to look at is, go to their website, look at what kind of board members you have. That means where the vision is coming from, what kind of people are fueling the whole mission and vision of the organization, because that's where the quality and focus on excellence comes in. Second, you look at what kind of faculty and corporate footprints that an institution has. Okay, so if you don't have great faculty member, your ability to appreciate the subject very limited. And if you don't have good corporate footprints, not in terms of placement data, in terms of corporate engagement and corporate footprint in your from your curricular design to delivery and the post qualification aspects. So that these three aspects one has to look at. Obviously, a good infrastructure is always a welcome thing, because that gives you a kind of an ecosystem or a very congenial environment to study and pursue certain heavy duty intellectual stuff. If you have a dilapidated or a not so very good campus facilities or compromised facilities, then that also, you end up struggling for silly things and you end up wasting your time. So you look at infrastructure, whether it is fancy or not, whether it is functional or not is more important. How functionally strong it is more important. And then you look at faculty, you look at the board members, you look at the corporate footprints. I think if you have these three things, in a given business school, you must look at them, because these aspects are going to drive excellence and opportunity both for a student. And the second aspect, which I would always insist students or rather advise, is when you go for MBA or PGDM program, carry three things with you. Creativity in mind, compassion in heart, and fire in the belly. Right? So they say in Vedic literature, it says, Shraddhavan labhate gnanam. Right? The earnest aspirant gets the greatest knowledge. So you bring in that earnestness with you, the sincerity with you, the ability to withstand the tough things, resilience, all that with you. Be prepared, come with a mission mode, treat these 2 years as investment. Don't treat this as getting one more degree, job mil jayega and all that. You come here to kind of engage in a tapasya, engage in a more of a designing or rebuilding yourself, and then see the difference. You will be changed person for life. I think you should come with that mindset, evaluate an institution on the parameters that I suggested, and obviously prepare yourself with that creativity, compassion, and fire in the belly. I think the advice is too long though, but I think I thought I should give them both perspectives.
They have to know, because everyone doesn't take that trouble. And when you invest money, time, effort, it should be worth it at the end of the day, because that matters. So
for me, more than the fees, Prabhaji, I would look at these 2 years of their life. These are the golden years. Look at the age. This is the peak of their productivity and peak that they can do the best with their life. So these 2 years won't come back. So you treat this 2 years as investment. Whatever fee that you pay, money you can still recover in life in very many ways. But you can't get back these 2 years. These are golden years. So time is money, they say.
True, very true. Very interesting conversation. So thank you so much for giving all the details.
Thank you, Prabhaji. I enjoyed this interaction, and I hope I have made sense for your viewers and the aspiring students. And I'm sure they would look at Sparsh Global Business School from a different perspective. It is not a regular business school. And I keep saying this as we are trying to build a private IIM. So all that a typical IIM would offer in a government setup, we want to replicate, if not do it better, in a private setup.
Sir, I think students should be listening and checking things out, and then, because this generation is very smart that way, they will come back and choose better for themselves. Yeah. So thank you so much, sir.